Quite possibly the most common problem in a C5 Corvette is the HVAC LED lights go dim and you can't read them, especially outside and if it's sunny. So with the help of information I found on the Fabulous Corvette forum, we're going to go ahead and fix this today. First thing we have to do is remove it from the car, which will require moving all these trim panels and ultimately unbolting the HVAC display from the car. So let's get started. Remove the plug. There's a sensor in here too, but there's also a bolt for the dash trim plate. Use a small screwdriver, carefully pry it out of the way, and you can see the screw we need to remove. It's a Torx bit. And set your screw out of the way. Keep them in a safe spot so you don't lose them, of course. Next two screws are inside this little cubby area. Next, there's a couple of screws inside the storage console. Got to pop these plugs off carefully with the flat blade screwdriver and set them off to the side. Then using a 10mm, remove the nuts. And I'm going to be pulling this console out of the way, so I'm just going to put all my nuts and screws so far in here for safekeeping. Next step is to remove this plastic deal here. It just simply pops out of here carefully without breaking it, and then disconnect the switches. And set this out of the way. Next, we have one more connector here for the cigarette lighter, so that's out of the way, and two more 10mm nuts to remove. And once again, just set all that hardware inside the cubby box so that they're for safekeeping. At this point, should be able to pull it back about 2 or 3 inches, and you can leave this in place. Okay, now when we're taking this plastic trim off, we have to be careful so you don't break it, of course. There's a retainer, plastic retainer that holds this boot in place. So I'm just going to work this loose. I just remember this kind of being a little bit tricky to get out, but just take your time. Don't pull too hard, don't break anything. Everything will come out in one piece in the same condition it was in before I started this project. Looks like we got one more wire here, one more on the back of the cigarette lighter that I forgot to get at. Move this off to the side where it's safe. So now we're going to take the 2 screws off the HVAC setup here, and I believe those are a 7mm. Okay, got these screws out. Let's pull this unit back, and there's just one blue connector. Just push this back and this should pop off. Yep, just depressing this blue retainer and slowly wiggling it back and forth, it does come off. So now we're going to take this over to the bench. And so far, guys, I've been timing this. I have exactly 25 minutes into this, and that includes, moving the camera around to make sure I get as many of these shots as possible. Okay, we're on the bench. I'm going to wipe this off. There's plenty of little bit of dust and debris on here from 20 years or whatever it's been. And then there's screws on the perimeter here, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oddly enough, these are a 3/16. So I'm going to remove all these. Okay, now I'm going to open this up, and I think this is the board that we need to get at. So there's 4 more screws. So I'm going to carefully take these off. They're 3/16 as well. Okay guys, everything that I've read on the forum says it's these 8 black They say resistors, but I don't. These are resistors over here for sure. I'm not sure what these are, but anyway, these end up cracking from heat cycling. So using a very fine tip soldering gun and just a teeny bit of solder, I'm going to go ahead and resolder all 16 joints here, and just to liquefy the solder and get the joints nice and solid so they can conduct electricity like they did originally. One note, I'm not going to lie, the soldering is very delicate, and if you're not confident in your ability to solder carefully, find a friend or neighbor or somebody who is, because you don't want to wreck the board. And then I'll continue on each side and get them all done. Once you get them all soldered up, remember to put this board back into the cover, replace these 4 screws, carefully put this back together, and replace these 4 screws as well. Make sure you just snug these up gently. The last thing you want to do is crack more plastic. Now for the moment of truth. Let's plug this back in carefully. Set it in place. And I would certainly test it out before you go ahead and put everything back together, just to make sure everything works. And another success. And of course, don't forget, put these screws back in to hold the HVAC unit to the dash. Don't go too tight, just nice and just snug, but not too tight. Now we're just going to put things back together in the reverse order of disassembly. Take the opportunity to clean this up really good while you've got it out. And don't forget to hook up the electric for the cigarette lighter. Guys, that took me a total of a little over 2 hours monkeying around with the camera and everything. Now I'm going to go and take it for a spin. Hey guys, if you liked the video, please remember to hit that share, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you with another Corvette video soon.